How's it hanging, people? I'm Lindsay Geektron, and this is LolKing's League Trends for the week of December 8th, 2014, sponsored by the Warlords of Draenor, which is available now online or in stores. Take your place on the front lines and get a free level 90 character boost to one of your toons that you probably left all by itself and forgotten and abandoned on some server since Wrath of the Lich King, because maybe leveling Paladin sucks. Oddly specific, Lindsay. Also, garrisons are kind of amazing. Speaking of amazing, though, this week's featured champions include Brand Udyr, Victor Zac, Riven, and Yasuo. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. The champions with the biggest increased pick rates this week are Pantheon, Brand, Vi, Lissandra, and Fiddlesticks. Brand is League of Legends' stereotypical mage. He shoots fireballs and he's squishy. He's usually seen in mid lane, but sometimes players will get a funky idea and play him as a support or a jungler. Brand brings damage aplenty, but must land his skill shots and doesn't have a lot of range. The stun from Sheer is his only crowd control, so be careful when playing against Dive or Assassin. Brand may appear a simple champion, but his abilities can be used in different orders for different results. This is because his passive Blaze is both applied by and empowers his abilities. You must therefore cast the ability you need least first, since it won't get a bonus effect. His stun from Seer is only applied if the target is marked from his passive, so you almost never want to lead with that ability. Blaze buffs his abilities, but it also adds a dot of its own. The damage is single target, so many players choose to build a Riley's Crystal Scepter and Liandry's Torment. The effects from these items are refreshed by Blaze, so it adds both control and damage. It also gives substantial health, so Brand has a better time of dealing with people in his face. Guys, make sure you never feed the Brand. Decreased pick rates this week include Warwick, Kalista, Vayne, Thresh, and Udyr. Open the gates! Stop the ports! Many were eager to use Udyr's fast clear in the new jungle, but the Spirit Walker is finding it less inviting. Udyr can no longer power farm the jungle like he used to, and this is partly due to less sustain, but has more to do with the higher spawn times in the jungle. Udyr is a strong duelist, especially with items, but he won't get that from his jungle, and instead must create advantages through ganking or counter jungling. His ability to teamfight later on depends on the mobility and crowd control of his enemies. Janna stands out as both a strong ally and enemy of Udyr due to her movement speed aura. Immobile carries such as Xerath or Brand can be flashed on and stunned, but champions with escapes and peel like Tristana can be difficult for Udyr to stick to. Split pushing a la Trick 2G can be viable if the enemy's team fight is better, but only if Udyr has the items to be a solo threat. The Ranger's Trailblazer is a standard on most junglers, and Udyr will do the most damage with a Devourer enchantment. A second damage item isn't recommended unless you have a lot of gold, so buy tank stats and cooldown reduction from items like Frozen Heart or Locket of the Iron Solari. Champs with the biggest increased win rates are Victor, Rammus, Yorick, Vi, and Shaco. Victor had a dismal win rate when his rework first came out, but players are warming up to him. He's a mage that can be played in the top lane, but is usually seen mid. He brings a lot of damage to his team, but both it and his CC from Gravity Field are difficult to land, so be sure you practice. If you're not confident with his abilities, then try and let allies lock people down first so that you can't miss. Deathray is particularly tricky because it uses drag and drop targeting. The only other ability like this in the game is Rumble's ultimate. Some players prefer to take these abilities off SmartCast, so be sure you try both. Victor has his own toy in the Hex Core, but outside of that, can build the same items as other AP champions. Some players like a Haunting Guise for additional magic pen due to his high base damages. Others buy Lichbane. Victor's Siphon Power ability gives him on-hit damage for one auto attack, so he already plays like he has one. Make sure you watch out for the Machine Herald on the Rift. The biggest decreased win rates for this week include Urgot, Sejuani, Karthus, Zac, and Syndra. Zac is near the bottom both alphabetically and by win rate. Zac is a good team fighter, but his early ganks don't have much damage, and he can be bullied out by other junglers. Tank junglers in general still don't seem comfortable with both clearing and ganking. Zac can also be played in the top lane, but has few winning matchups. Watch out for knockbacks if you play Zac. Once he gets in, he can knock up an entire enemy team. But if his elastic slingshot gets avoided or interrupted, he's in big trouble. So use the long range of the ability to your advantage and jump from outside the fog of war so that teams can't react. Zac has mediocre AP ratio, so if you're going to build damage, focus on items like a Haunting Guise or Abyssal Scepter to reduce magic resistance. Most players end up with just tank items like a Spirit Visage or a Sunfire Cape. While things don't look great for Zac, at least he can be bigger than ever with the new Elixir of Iron. Size matters, right? Champions with the biggest increased ban rates this week are Pantheon, Fiddlesticks, Riven, Akali, and Warwick. Riven is showing up on people's bans list. I guess she's the exile in more ways than one. She's a dangerous snowballer and is therefore yet another champion that indirectly benefits from jungle changes. Junglers have less consistent pressure and are frequently underleveled, so Riven players are free to play aggressively. She by no means wins lanes automatically, but if she does, she'll run away with it and start winning 1v2s. Riven players will build items such as a Brutalizer, Ravenous Hydra, and Last Whisper, so she can be countered if enough armor is built. Other defensive items such as Azania's Hourglass or Guardian Angel can protect carries from her burst. Beating Riven in lane requires players to disrupt her combination with CC. A good Riven player can use shield and stuns to avoid taking much damage, but if she gets stopped, she's quite squishy. Her Valor shield only lasts a second and a half, so if possible, bait it out and wait for it to fall off before attacking. When team fighting against her, be wary of her engage potentials with Flash. It adds a fair bit of range to her gap closing, but without it, Riven will have a hard time diving. And finally this week, the champions with the biggest decreased ban rates are Kalista, Rammus, Yasuo, Lucian, and Kha'Zix. Yasuo currently boasts a 43% win rate, but apparently players still had bad memories from before he got nerfed. Or maybe they were banning him from their own team. Either way, it looks like it's time to move on. Present-day Yasuo is a weak laner that needs significant time to farm items and get to late game. He's still a monster when he gets there, but good luck. To survive lane on Yasuo, consider running defensive runes such as flat health seals and magic resist glyphs. Against champions with skill shots, you can bait and avoid abilities using Sweeping Blade on minions. If you dodge successfully, you can get a good trade. An early Vamp Scepter can give sustain but should only be bought if necessary, since it slows down bigger items such as a static shiv. Yasuo, of course, works best with champions that bring knockups. In particular, try and make sure your jungler brings one. Jarvan 4 and Vi in particular stand out for their reliability, but also bring an armor shred. If your allies don't bring knockups, then Yasuo will struggle to initiate fights and will have to play more of a cleanup role instead. Janitor Yasuo skin incoming. And that does it for this week's episode. Please be sure you check back every week for the latest League of Legends picks, bans, and win rates. Please be sure you like and comment below, especially if you like this video, but mostly share it around to all of your friends because we all love League of Legends, and let's all hang out together and ban the same champions and piss off everyone above gold. I'm Lindsay Geektron. You can follow me on Twitch TV @LindsayGeektron. Thanks everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.